Hey everyone, and welcome to Easy English Talk. We're so glad you're here.
Thanks for joining us. Let's get started with today's topic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Learning Podcast, the place where you not only improve your English, but also improve your life step by step. I'm your host, Jason, and today we're going to talk about something very powerful, something very real, and something that can truly change the direction of your life if you really understand it.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia, and I'm really excited about today's topic because I think it's something that many people feel in their hearts, but they don't always talk about it openly, and sometimes they don't even realize how serious it is.
That's absolutely right, Julia. So let me ask you a simple but very deep question, and I want everyone listening to really think about this. Are you living your life fully, or are you slowly wasting it without even noticing?
Wow. That's a strong question, Jason, because when I think about it, I realize that many people spend their days doing the same things again and again, without growth, without learning, and without moving closer to their dreams.
Exactly. And the truth is, life is not as long as we think. And time is something we can never get back once it's gone. So every single day matters more than we realize.
And I think this topic is also very important for English learners because sometimes people say, I will start learning tomorrow, or I will practice later, but later never comes.
Yes, and that's why today's episode is not just about language. It's about your mindset, your habits, and your future. Because if you learn how to use your time wisely, you can improve your English and your life at the same time.
So if you've ever felt stuck, unmotivated, or like you're not moving forward in your life, then this episode is definitely for you.
Stay with us, because in this episode, we're going to help you understand why people waste their lives, and more importantly, how you can stop it and start living with purpose from today.
Let's get started.
Let's be honest for a moment, because this part might feel a little uncomfortable, but it is very important. Many people are wasting their lives without even realizing it. And the most dangerous thing is not that they are doing it, but that they think everything is fine.
That's true, Jason, because when you look at a typical day for many people, it often starts with checking their phones, scrolling through social media for a long time, watching videos that don't help them grow, and then suddenly the day is gone without doing anything meaningful.
Exactly. And if you repeat this kind of day again and again, it slowly turns into weeks, then months. And before you know it, years have passed, and you feel like you didn't really move forward in your life.
And I think one of the biggest problems is that people don't feel the loss immediately, because wasting time doesn't always look like something bad. Sometimes it feels comfortable, easy, and even enjoyable in the moment.
Yes, and that comfort is actually very dangerous, because it keeps you in the same place, doing the same things, while your dreams stay far away, waiting for action that never comes.
It's also important to say that wasting your life doesn't always mean doing nothing, because sometimes people are busy all day, but they are busy with things that don't really matter for their future.
That's a very powerful point, Julia, because being busy is not the same as being productive, and if your daily actions are not connected to your goals, then you are just spending time, not investing it.
And when people finally realize this, they often feel regret because they start thinking about all the time they could have used to learn, improve, and build a better life.
So this is your reality check. If you feel like your days are passing without purpose, without learning, and without progress, then it's time to stop and ask yourself honestly, am I really living, or am I just passing time?
Because once you become aware of this, that's the first step to changing everything.
Exactly. And in the next part, we're going to explore why this happens and why so many people fall into this trap without even noticing it. Now that we've had that honest reality check, the next important question is this: why do people waste their lives in the first place, even when they have dreams, goals, and opportunities in front of them?
That's a really important question, Jason, because I think many people don't actually want to waste their lives, but something stops them. Something holds them back again and again.
Exactly. And one of the biggest reasons is fear. Fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, and even fear of what other people will think. So instead of taking action, people choose to stay safe and do nothing.
Yes, and when you stay in that safe place for too long, it becomes your comfort zone, and even though you are not growing, it feels easier than trying something new and risking failure.
Another big reason is lack of direction. Because if you don't know what you want in life, or you don't have clear goals, then it's very easy to waste time because you don't have a strong reason to move forward.
That's so true. And I've also noticed that many people are always waiting for the perfect time. They say things like, I will start next week, or I will begin when I feel ready. But that perfect moment never really comes.
Yes, and that habit of waiting is very dangerous because it creates a cycle of delay, and every delay pushes your dreams further away without you even noticing it.
And we should also talk about overthinking, because sometimes people think too much about what could go wrong, and they become stuck in their own thoughts instead of taking simple action.
That's a great point, Julia, because overthinking gives the feeling of progress, but in reality, it keeps you in the same place, thinking instead of doing.
So when you combine fear, lack of direction, comfort zone, waiting for the perfect time, and overthinking, it becomes very easy to understand why so many people feel stuck in life.
Exactly. But the good news is this: once you understand these reasons, you can start to break them. And in the next part, we're going to talk about the moment that can change everything. The moment you truly wake up and become aware. Now here comes one of the most important moments in this entire conversation. The moment of awareness, because nothing in your life will change until you truly see what is happening and accept it honestly.
That's so true, Jason, because many people live on autopilot, doing the same things every day without questioning their habits, their choices, or the direction of their life.
Exactly. And a wake-up moment can be very simple, but very powerful. It can be a question, a feeling, or even a quiet moment where you suddenly realize, I don't want to live like this anymore.
Yes, and sometimes that realization comes when you compare where you are now with where you want to be, and you see a big gap between your current life and your dreams.
And that gap is not there to make you feel bad. It is there to show you the truth. Because awareness is not about judging yourself. It's about understanding yourself clearly so you can start making better choices.
I really like that idea, because when you become aware, you stop blaming time, luck, or other people, and you start taking responsibility for your own life.
Exactly. And that's the moment when everything begins to change. Because instead of saying, I don't have time, you start asking, how can I use my time better?
And instead of saying, I will start tomorrow, you begin to feel the importance of starting today, even if it's just a small step.
Yes, because awareness gives you control. And once you have that control, you can decide how you want to live, how you want to grow, and how you want to use your time.
So if you're listening right now, maybe this is your wake-up moment. Maybe this is the time to open your eyes and choose a better direction for your life.
And in the next part, we're going to help you take that awareness and turn it into real action with simple, practical steps you can start using today. Now that you've had that wake-up moment and you understand how important your time really is, the next step is very simple, but very powerful. You need to take action, because awareness without action will not change your life.
Yes, and the good news is that you don't need to make big, difficult changes all at once, because small, consistent actions every day can completely transform your life over time.
Exactly. So let's start with the first step. Set clear goals. Because if you don't know where you are going, it's very easy to get lost and waste time on things that don't really matter.
And your goals don't have to be perfect. They just need to be clear and meaningful, like saying, I want to improve my English speaking, or I want to learn something new every day.
That's right. And the second step is to take small daily actions, because many people wait for motivation. But successful people focus on discipline and consistency even when they don't feel ready.
For example, you can practice English for just 10 or 15 minutes every day, and even though it feels small, it creates a strong habit that grows over time.
The third step is to manage your time wisely, because time is your most valuable resource. So instead of spending hours on things that don't help you grow, try to use that time for learning, practicing, and improving yourself.
Yes, and another important step is to learn something new every day, because growth keeps your mind active and it gives you a sense of progress and purpose.
And finally, surround yourself with positive influence, whether it's people, podcasts, or content that inspires you, because your environment has a strong effect on your mindset and your actions.
So when you combine clear goals, small daily actions, smart time management, continuous learning, and a positive environment, you create a lifestyle that moves you forward instead of holding you back.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to start, because even a small step today is better than waiting for a perfect moment that may never come. Hey, Julia, can I ask you something honestly? Have you ever felt like you were stuck in life? Like you were busy every day but not really moving forward?
Yes, Jason, I've definitely felt that way before, especially when my days were full of small, unimportant activities, and at the end of the day, I felt tired, but not proud of what I had done.
I understand that feeling, because many people confuse being busy with being productive, and they don't realize that real progress comes from doing things that actually help them grow.
Exactly, and I remember there was a time when I kept telling myself that I would start improving my English tomorrow, but that tomorrow kept moving further and further away.
That's a very common situation. And what changed for you? What helped you finally take action instead of waiting?
Honestly, it was a simple realization that time was passing anyway, whether I used it or not. So I decided to start with just 10 minutes a day, even when I didn't feel motivated.
That's a great decision, because starting small makes it easier to build a habit. And once you begin, it becomes easier to continue.
Yes, and after a few weeks I started to see progress, and that progress gave me confidence, which made me want to do even more.
That's exactly how growth works. Small actions create small results, and those results create motivation, and that motivation helps you stay consistent.
So if someone is listening right now and feels stuck, I would say don't wait for the perfect time. Just start with something small today, because action creates change.
And remember, your future is built by what you do daily, not by what you plan to do someday. So take that first step and keep moving forward. Before we move forward, let's quickly talk about some common mistakes that can keep you stuck, even if you really want to change your life.
Yes, because sometimes people have good intentions, but they make small mistakes that stop them from making real progress.
One of the biggest mistakes is waiting too long, telling yourself that you will start later, because later often turns into never, and you lose valuable time without realizing it.
Another mistake is comparing yourself to others, because when you constantly look at other people's success, you may feel discouraged and forget to focus on your own journey and your own growth.
That's very true, and another common problem is trying to be perfect, because perfection slows you down and makes you afraid to take action, while progress comes from doing things imperfectly but consistently.
Yes, and we should also mention giving up too early, because many people start something with excitement, but when they don't see quick results, they lose motivation and stop.
Exactly. And success in anything, including learning English, takes time, patience, and consistent effort, not just short bursts of motivation.
So if you can avoid these mistakes, waiting, comparing, seeking perfection, and giving up too soon, you will already be far ahead of many people.
And that will make your journey much smoother and much more meaningful. At the end of the day, the most important thing to understand is this: your life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not next week, and not someday in the future. So every moment you have is a new chance to make a better choice.
Yes, and you don't need to change everything in one day. You just need to change your direction, because even a small step in the right direction can lead to a completely different life over time.
Exactly. And instead of thinking, I don't have enough time, try to tell yourself, I will use the time I have wisely, because your mindset shapes your actions, and your actions shape your future.
And remember, you are not competing with anyone else. You are only trying to become a better version of yourself, one day at a time.
So start today, start small, and stay consistent, because the life you want is built through daily effort, not big, sudden changes.
Believe in your ability to grow, trust the process, and don't be afraid to take that first step.
Because one day, you will look back and feel proud that you didn't waste your life. You chose to live it with purpose. So as we come to the end of today's episode, let's quickly remember the most important message. Your time is limited, and how you choose to use it will shape your entire life.
We talked about how easy it is to waste time without realizing it, and how habits like fear, overthinking, and waiting for the perfect moment can keep you stuck in the same place.
But we also learned that awareness is the turning point, because once you understand what is happening in your life, you gain the power to change it.
And with simple steps like setting clear goals, taking small daily actions, managing your time, and continuing to learn, you can slowly build a life that has meaning and direction.
Exactly. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent, because progress comes from what you do every day, not from what you plan to do in the future.
So our final advice is simple. Start now, use your time wisely, and don't wait for the perfect moment, because the best time to change your life is today.
Make your days count. Make your efforts meaningful. And most importantly, choose to live your life with purpose. Before we end today's episode, we want to leave you with one simple challenge. Don't just listen to this message and move on. Take one small action today that proves to yourself that you are serious about changing your life.
Yes, maybe it is practicing English for just 10 minutes. Maybe it is writing down one goal. Or maybe it is deciding to stop one habit that is wasting your time. But whatever it is, make sure it is real action, not just a thought.
And if you are learning English with us, try to use what you heard today in your daily life. Speak out loud, repeat sentences, and practice thinking in English, because real improvement comes from practice, not just listening.
Also, don't forget to stay consistent, because even small daily efforts can create big changes over time, and the key is not speed, but steady progress.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to English Learning Podcast, share it with someone who needs motivation, and come back for the next episode where we will continue improving your English and your mindset together.
And remember, your life is in your hands, so start today, not tomorrow.
See you in the next episode.